Hi and welcome. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how it all started, where I was at the time, and why I finally came to Abidjan for a master's degree in French. So let's get into it. So it was early June of 2021, yeah, almost a year after graduation. I had just I had graduated with a BSc honors in biological sciences, and I was volunteering with Jala University. I was at the National Herbarium as a lab technician. At the same time, I was a teaching assistant for Professor Eyalebi, and also I was training with CDC, Center for Disease Control Surveillance team in Jala University. Also, at the same time, I was into entrepreneurship, branding vegetables, fries, anything I could lay my hands on at that time. I was doing, keeping myself busy, learning new skills, and all, empowering myself. Yeah, so if you are at the stage wherein you've just graduated, waiting to get a job, or you are in your final year, just know that after graduation is not easy. You need to do whatever you can, because whilst volunteering, you are also empowering yourself, impacting knowledge into yourself. At least you get to learn new things you don't know before. And even if you are to get a job, they will ask you, what are you going to bring to the table? So that's where I was. Literally, I was doing everything and anything. So then I was thinking to myself, okay, now what? It's been almost a year, and I had my goals. I knew that I wanted to pursue a master's degree, and so I was talking with Professor Eyalebi, who happens to be my adopted dad, and also a supervisor and a mentor in the area or aspect of plant. And so I was telling him that I really wanted to do something specific relating to plant, like plant taxonomy or systematics. And he was like, oh, that's a very good idea. And it's rather unfortunate the person that trained me, the person that at least got me to where I am now when it comes to plant is past, he's late. He died recently, but he trained two other guys who are really good in plants, and if you're under their supervision, there is no iota of doubt that you come out, really strong for a lady. And so he says they are Ivorian, and he'll try to contact them, and he did, and inquired. We went to the butcher, we were searching, and I saw the course I was looking for. But when we asked, they said the course has started and it's going to be in French. I was devastated at that time. But also I was trying to find other universities, other African universities that, would offer the same, because he was willing to pay. So I searched University of Accra, Ghana. It was pretty expensive, and they've already closed applications. I also searched at University of Makerere, Uganda. I did everything, but the application process was not going through. So I just decided to, you know, apply for a master's degree there in my country, Sierra Leone, at the University of Jala. Master's degree in conservation biology management. And so that's where I was. But later, my dad's friend in Abidjan called him, "Oh, I'm sorry, your daughter could not come over. You know, it's really unfortunate that the course is in French. But there will be a link that will come out later this June, and it's also related to biology. She has the background. If only she's willing to apply, and as God could have it, if she's taking, then it will be fine. So I'll send you the link." And my dad told me, and I was like, okay, that's fine. It's almost like the same course because it also has component of biodiversity, even though it's climate change, ecosystem services, and biodiversity. And so he sent the link. I looked. He told me the course was going to be in English. He told my dad that it was going to be in English. So that's why I said, okay, I would apply for it. And the call for application came out. I saw it. It also says, it also said it was going to be in English, but also you should have a very good background in French. Yeah, so that's why I applied for the course. So for my background in French, I went to one of the best schools in Sierra Leone, bilingual elementary and high school. From the name bilingual, you can tell that it has to do with two languages, which are English and French. And I have never seen a proprietor that is as meticulous and, you know, hardworking when it comes to French. Yeah, I could remember back then our proprietor would, you know, translate books. He would simplify French books, make them available just for us to have it. Our devotions would not go by without him coming himself to teach us one or two things in French. He was so keen when it comes to us learning French. So much so that our songs were in French, the national anthem was in French, our pledge was in French. We had, you know, everything in French. We even had quizzes in French. You know, I fell in love with French during that time, even though, you know, sometimes it's only because I didn't want to have a bad grade. But later on, I fell in love with French and I was doing so well. I sat to it for my junior national school examination and I got a distinction. But then when I went to senior secondary school, it was alternated with engineering, and at that time I had not made up my mind on what I really wanted to do. So I could not, you know, forgo engineering for French at that time. I didn't know I would be needing it so badly in my life. Imagine, had I known. So that was it. I had a pre-knowledge, you know, when it comes to the basics of conjugation, the basics and salutations and those kind of things. But during the 4 years in senior secondary school and 4 years in university, 8 years of not doing French or talking it, I forgot a whole lot. And back then, the way we used to hear the pronunciation of some of the words were totally wrong. Like, we used to make fun of everything. Like, for example, if the monsieur said bonjour, we would be like bonsus, you know, those kind of things. We didn't value it. And so That's it. So if you are asking, or if you are thinking, oh, you saw in the application that you should know French, that was my standing point. I knew the basics. Yeah. So I applied for the scholarship, and because I was eligible, and it was a very good call for application, and I applied, but the process was long. Yeah, because the date we were expecting them to call us for interview had passed. Yeah, we were not interview. I applied for the scholarship in August, and we were to be interviewed in September, but we were not interviewed until the end of November. Yeah, so I was interviewed. It was really, really funny because it was the last day of the interview, and I was the last person to be interviewed. I was in the bathroom when I received an international call, and as soon as I picked up the call, it was a man, and he was just talking French. He was speaking French, and I picked up, but I could get some few things. And I remember he asked me to identify myself. You know, the basics I learned in school. I was like, mon nom s'appelle Fanny Katumu Masali, j'ai 24 ans, j'habite à Sierra Leone, et ma mère s'appelle Regina Sanja, mon père s'appelle Monsieur Samuel Masali, il est un étudiant. Hey! That's where I knew I messed up. Because in French, when you say étudiant, it means student. And me saying my dad is a student out of panic, or, you know, at that time I wasn't expecting them to call me for the interview. Yeah, I was in the bathroom. And the guy was like, he changed from French to English. He was like, so you mean to tell me that your dad is a student? And I was like, he's a student, but he's also a professor. Like, I said it in French. Il est étudiant, mais he's also it was hot, and so it was almost their break time. So he told me that I told him, please do my interview in English, because I cannot. The way you are saying everything is so rapid and all. And so he says, okay, they are going to call me back later, that I should prepare myself and have a very good connection, that they were going to do my interview in English, but there is a question I should answer in French. So I was just there, relaxing myself, putting myself together, you know, and they interviewed me, and I answered all my questions, you know. And I asked a question. I said, if you are going to advise me as a student wanting to come to Abidjan, even though you know I don't know how to speak English, what would you advise me? And he says that I should practice my French. This few time that I have, I should practice my French, you know. And they asked me, now that you don't know French, how are you going to cope when you come? I said, well, because that's why they told me the course was going to be 80% French. I was like, what? But there was no way I could give up. It's a scholarship, and it's a very good package. Who would say no to it? I was like, okay, I would study. Just believe in me, trust me. I would pull through. I'm not going to say it will be easy, but I've already started studying, and I will continue to study. So I was studying. I was honestly studying. I had a book and some app, which I will later share on with you. I was studying. I thought I was doing pretty well, because when it comes to the basics, I had them under control. But it was not enough. It was not enough. So that's all for today's video. Now you know where I'm coming from. For my next video, we're going to you know, starts really, really, really well, we're going to go into the details and stuff. So thank you. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Share. You never know, you never can tell. I never knew I'd be in this position, so don't forget to share to a friend, to a brother, to a sister. Make sure you like and help us grow. Bye.